everybody. I am coming to you with week 3 science. This will be lessons 4 and 5. Well, this is 4 for right now. But this week we are focusing on the water cycle, which is probably something you have heard about before in school. I know when I was in school, it was something you learned in 3rd grade. I'm not sure what age you learn it now, but the water cycle is this idea that of what happens to the water on our planet, and that it's constantly cycled through, and it never goes away. There's never any new water created. It's the same water particles that a T-Rex once enjoyed many years ago is what you're sipping out of your glass right now. So the main components that we talk about are evaporation, when liquid water turns into gas. This should sound familiar from our last unit. And then we have condensation, when water vapor goes back to being a liquid. And then we have precipitation, which is when water from a cloud falls back to earth as either snow, sleet, hail, rain. There are also those are like the 3 big players, but there are also other things that happen that contribute to the water cycle. One of them is called transpiration, and I am going to let you investigate what that means today. And we also will talk about runoff, which is just the idea that water can fall from the sky as precipitation in one place, but then after it's already liquid water and on the ground, it can move to another place, to another reservoir. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be investigating. And what I would like you to do is you are going to find a picture that you like of a national park, and you are going to use Google Slides to draw on it the different parts of the water cycle that are visible in that photograph. So I'm going to walk you through how you do that, and then I'll tell you how to get started. So first of all, you can see I went to Google Images and I looked for national parks. If you have a particular favorite national park, maybe you love Yosemite or Yellowstone or Denali or the Great Smoky Mountains or whatever, you can do whatever. You can do any national park. But I'm going to take this photo right here that came up. This is the only photo on the internet that I am calling. You can have any other photo of a national park, but you're going to take a higher res photo is going to be good. And since we're talking about the water cycle, it'll obviously be better if there's water in the photo. So you're going to right click, copy image, and then just like when we've done Google Slides before and I push out a Google Slides link on Schoology and you have to hit edit my document. So you're going to go into your document. It's going to look like this. It's not that fancy. You will right click and then paste. And there it is. Whoop, there it is. Let me move it. All right. Really quickly, before you get away from that website, you're going to want to go to the link that you clicked on. You're going to copy image address. You're going to put that in down here. If you highlight this text and then paste, whoops. That is your image credit. That's just a good habit to get into whenever you use an image. You should really keep in mind just sharing where you got the image from, part of citing your sources. And then the name of your national park. So on your, when you click on the link, you should be able to see what park it is. Now I know this is Glacier National Park, but what I'm not seeing is where they got that from. Okay, sorry. It's weird. It's not even one of the most visited ones. They just liked that photo. Oh, here it is. Now, I realize you're like, Miss Funk, how did you know that was Glacier National Park? Because in the image address, it says 2020 Glacier National Park. That was my key. You might have to do a little investigating, but the name of the national park, you're putting right there. Okay, then this is the step that I can see some of you being confused on. So first of all, if you want to make this a little bit bigger, in the notes for the, please go away. In the notes for the slide, I've put the 5 terms that you need to demonstrate, show that are there. And you can do this a couple of ways. You can use a line or an elbow or something like that. But honestly, I think the easiest way is just to click the scribble button. The scribble button lets you just sort of draw kind of like auto draw. The only thing you're going to want to make sure you do is make the line a little bit thicker, because if you, let's turn on my scribble. Oops. If you draw, why is that not going? If you draw like that, the line is pretty thin, pretty difficult to see. So when you hit scribble, if you can make the line a little bit thicker, where did that just go? Oh my gosh, you guys are probably so sick of me not knowing how to do this stuff. Oh, you can make it thicker after the fact. All right. So we might even want to do like bright yellow, make it like a, okay. So I can click on the scribbly line and I might say, all right, right here, I see snow. Okay, snow would be liquid water. That would be a form of precipitation. So I insert a text box right inside my circle and I write snow precipitation. Okay, and then check, I've used one word from my box down here. I've gotten 1 out of my 5 out of my way. Would help me if you can just try to take a second and either give these a background, like highlight them so I can see them, or change the color or whatever. All right. I am going to keep this arrow that I drew here. I'm going to turn it into, if I click, this is going to be runoff, because I imagine that water, when it hits right here, it comes down this embankment, comes down this cliff, and the water is deposited right here. So I can insert a text box and say runoff. Okay, I'm going to keep going and doing this until I have used all 5 of those terms and identified them in my picture. Make sure you know what all the terms mean before you choose a picture, because if not, you might have a hard time completing some of this, because some of these you need certain things in the picture. I will tell you one thing, what we know, evaporation is an invisible process. It's when liquid water goes to gas, but you can just show me where the water is coming from and which direction it's going, and then label that evaporation. Okay? So this is your job for lesson 4. I'm going to include a couple links of things that will nicely define evaporation, condensation, precipitation, runoff, and transpiration for you. And then your job is to just create this and then submit it. Also, we're doing the fun secret code again, and I will tell you that the secret code to get into the assignment is, I need to think of one, 749. There you go. 749 is what you need to be able to get into the lesson. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions. Keep up the great work, structures.